This is Rima E. Labo, MD. I'm the Medical Director of the Natural Solutions Foundation, and today I'm talking to you from Geneva, Switzerland, where the Codex Alimentarius Commission, the CAC, is having its annual meeting. CAC is the organization that takes the decisions for Codex Alimentarius after the committees have done their deliberations and presented their work to the Commission. Now, the bottom line is what I'm going to give you first. The bottom line is that Codex Alimentarius is a genocidal organization. It is fundamentally, in my view, insane. It is degrading the world's food supply either through incompetence and playing politics with the lives and well-being of the world's people, including those in the United States, through conflict of interest, or through intentional genocidal actions. The Codex Alimentarius may be seen, I think accurately, as the global extension of the FDA. That should be a pretty scary thought if you care about food, if you care about freedom, and if you care about survival, yours or anybody else's. You see, Codex Alimentarius is carrying out actions like the following and making them international standards that countries have to use very special techniques like the Codex two-step process, which the Natural Solutions Foundation created and has shared with countries around the world to avoid being destroyed economically or at least hurt very badly by the World Trade Organization trade sanctions. Let me give you a couple of examples. On Monday, the Codex Alimentarius Commission approved over the strong objections of many countries in what they call consensus, but which is no such thing, a standard that allows apples to be 5% insects, active eating toxic insects. The people who get the apples, India, let's say, or the Dominican Republic, or the United States, can't say, no, you can't put your apples into my food supply because 5% of this shipment is bugs that are actively feeding. No. Codex says that's okay. Today, on the third day of the Codex meeting, the reason was made clear. A person representing the agency that sets Codex's irradiation standards made it clear that more irradiation of food, destroying more nutrients and creating more chaos in the food that people eat, making it less suitable for nourishment and nutrition, would be applied to get rid of the bugs. So you allow the bugs, and then you justify the use of more irradiation. And right now there are no upper limits for irradiation rads, doses, for food that Codex approves. It can be irradiated again and again and again and again. You allow filth, and then you say, well, we have to irradiate it to get rid of the filth. Legally, insects are considered filth. But wait, there's more. There's the continuing saga of ractopamine. Ractopamine is what's called a beta agonist. It is a poison that is so dangerous that people who come in contact with it have to use protective eye gear, hazard suits, gloves, and then they have to wash themselves thoroughly to prevent any kind of contact with their skin or any inhalation. Our insane FDA approved ractopamine to be given to cattle and hogs and turkey and other animals right up until the moment that they enter the slaughter chute. There's no washout period. There's no opportunity for the animal to metabolize the ractopamine away. No. What happens is the ractopamine is in the animal's body purely, strictly, and totally to make the animal gain weight So the industrial factory food producer, it really shouldn't even be called food, the factory make-believe food producer gets paid more money because the animal comes to market at a heavier weight. And damn the consequences. What are the consequences? Well, if you're a man, the consequences can be testicular atrophy. Regardless of your sex, they can be cardiovascular disease, fatal heart attacks, of course, hypertension, they can be leukemia, but hey, the manufacturer's getting more money for his cow or his pig or his turkey or whatever. Now, 25 countries, and you can guess which ones they are. They're the ducklings that follow along behind toxic mama FDA. 25 countries out of 194 countries make ractopamine a legal substance to feed to animals. 160 countries, including China, the world's largest consumer of and producer of pigs, for instance, ban ractopamine. Well, at the meeting at which this ractopamine issue was moved forward, the Committee on Food Additives, the Joint Expert Committee on Food Additives, or JECFA, which is a part of Codex run by the United States, the Chinese delegate was prevented from coming to JECFA that year because the United States government, oddly enough, wouldn't grant the delegate a visa. Isn't that interesting? Quite a trick. Well, when ractopamine came up last year, the delegate from China said, wait a minute, we don't approve ractopamine. We won't allow it in our animals. And the United States said, well, you should have raised your objections at the meeting at the Joint Committee on Food Additives. And the delegate said, I was not permitted to be at that meeting. Oops. This year, since they didn't come to, quote, consensus last year, the new chairperson of the Codex Alimentarius Commission, who just happens to be from the United States, twisted arms and spent time having special meetings outside the ordinary session hours to get ractopamine maximum residue levels, or MRLs, approved. She couldn't. This was a time when the U.S. got a black eye around ractopamine, having failed consensus. And by the way, if you want to read the details of how this goes, you're welcome to read the blog that I've written about it, outlining today's proceedings, including the fact that General Stubblebine and I were removed by guards from the seats that we were in, taking notes quietly in an orderly fashion at the Geneva Codex meeting. They really don't like us. And you can read about that event and why they don't like us. Partly because I guess we tell the truth, and the other reason because we have such a huge audience of people who are listening to the truth. Well, the bottom line is this. Having not gotten ractopamine through, the chairman, Karen Hullebeck, convened what's called a Friends of the Chairman Committee to change the outcome through parliamentary nonsense. We have to get the United States out of Codex. We have to get the United States out of food. We have to stop the slaughter. Dangerous drugs approved by the FDA are killing us because of conflict of interest. Dangerous foods are killing us and the rest of the world. U.S. out of Codex and FDA under control. This is Rima E. Lebo, MD, Medical Director of the Natural Solutions Foundation. Won't you join me in taking back our health and our lives? Thank you.